Thank you everybody who's been supporting Katarina the Supervillain. Thanks to everyone who's been watching. Thank you for sharing it, for spamming Netflix on Twitter and Instagram. Your support is really appreciated. I did reach out directly, so fingers crossed that they get back to us. And I'll be following up in about a couple weeks. So, see how that goes. I'm still going to be filibustering here until the show gets picked up, so I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. With that being said, I'm going to talk about my favorite movie, which is the producer's remake. I know, it's one of the movies, I do like it more than the original, even though I love the original a lot too. And people look at me like, blasphemy! Because for the longest time I was one of those people like, no, only the original is better, that remakes should never be made at all. But two of my favorite movies are remakes, and this one especially. I think the story is better. Granted, Gene Wilder's one of my favorite actors, and I do prefer him as Leo Bloom, but I really don't think Matthew Broderick does a bad job. I think he's a good song and dance man. I think he plays the character well. And while they can't quite recreate the opening comedic monologue that Max and Leo do, I think it's a really solid film, and it's something I get something new out of it every time I watch it. For those of you who've never seen it, it's about a group of a washed out producer and his accountant discover that they can make more money by creating a bad show than they can a good show. They try to make more money with a flop than with a hit, and of course the show they try to make bad ends up being a hit. It's hilarious. So it can be summed up as they try to fail and fail. Now, the original, you get all the cast of characters. Now the worst play ever written is Springtime for Hitler, written by a neo-Nazi. The worst director is this flamboyant gay guy who's also a cross-dresser and has a very eccentric crew. And the worst actor in town is obviously someone who's completely inexperienced. In the original, it was someone from the hippie counterculture. In the remake, it's supposed to be the neo-Nazi himself, but it ends up being the director who makes Hitler this gay stereotype. It's very, very funny. And of course, friendship, romance, music, all a part of it. I love the songs. It's Mel Brooks, so it's very, very funny. Now, what I like more about the remake is I think it's a better story, and I think you get more time with the side characters. They're all fleshed out. They're fleshed out more, and because of the times have changed, and gay people have become more accepted, so they could play it up a bit more. They could have fun with these characters more. They could have them in it more. And it's also, Hitler also famously hated gays, so making him a flaming gay stereotype is hilarious. Also, in the remake, Will Ferrell's a neo-Nazi. I don't see a neo-Nazi when I look at him. It's Will Ferrell in Lederhosen. It's so funny. Because yes, they all have songs, but there is a much tighter relationship between the two main characters, Max Bialystock, the washed-up producer, and Leo Bloom, the meek accountant who wants to be in showbiz. The original's really, really good, and the chemistry between Zero Mostel, who is famously Tevye on Fiddler on the Roof, and Gene Wilder, who is one of my favorite actors. I love him so much. It's good. It's very, very funny, and their comedic timing's excellent. Also, Nathan Lane is a really, really good choice as a replacement for Zero Mostel. Nathan Lane hits it out of the park. I enjoy every single second he's on screen. But the main focus of the movie is the friendship between Max and Leo. And one thing I find very, very fascinating about this movie is that the heart of it is friendship. And you see that. You don't really see a lot of movies that are about friendship, or at least I don't. Granted, I don't see a lot of movies. I watch more television. Television, you tend to see more family, or chosen family, or romance. I find that you don't really see too much that really delves into friendship, and how a platonic bond can be just as intimate, just as strong as family or romantic, I think we don't value it enough in America. So that's something I find really, really cool about this movie. That, and now that I am making my own stuff, I relate to it on a whole new level. You know, trying to navigate all these eccentric artists. They're in the theater world, but the animation world is just as emotional, just as eccentric, and just as madcap. Though in different ways. It is still fun. I love the animation world so much. And the theater world is famously crazy. I think a lot of people, this is one of those movies I really don't get why people don't like it. Because it is such a throwback to the classic movie musicals. Very much a Gene Kelly movie, and I love those. I'm a huge Gene Kelly fan. My grandpa actually got drunk with him, fun fact. Now, for those of you who don't know, Gene Kelly's a mega star in the golden age of Hollywood, a very famous dancer, known for his dancing. He danced with Jerry Mouse, he's done all these musicals, and always had a big random dance scene in the middle, just to show off how good he was. This is such a throwback to that, the producers, and the artistry. The camera doesn't, there's not a lot of camera angles, but it's not really supposed to be about dynamic shots. It's supposed to be, you're in this world, and you're seeing the sets, you are seeing the actors, and everybody looks like they are having a great time. The energy shines through and really sucks you in, and the comedy's very good. You get a lot of these great character jokes. There's a lot to make fun of with the theater world, but it's always done. You can always tell there's no contempt behind it, even the more frustrating stuff. And you know that there's the gold diggers, and you know that there are the divas, but this feels like there is love for the theater. There is love for the madcap energy of it. And there is a passion and a love and a chemistry behind it. It was originally a Broadway show. I wonder if... This is what I really don't get why people don't get it. I don't know if people were so attached to the original that they weren't willing to give the new one a chance. Because even by movie musical standards, it's not as well regarded as something like Chicago, and Chicago is brilliant. I don't know why the producers get so much... generally doesn't get as much love as it deserves. It's my favorite movie. It's amazing. I do, and yet it's really funny to see, because you've seen, and there are some reversals too, because originally how Max Bialystock funds his plays is by sleeping with little old ladies. Now you've seen the dirty old man stereotype, but it's so funny that it's dirty old ladies. And it's a man having to sleep his way to the top, because that's something you don't really see. I think it's so funny. Apparently Mel Brooks knew somebody who really did that. That's where he got the inspiration. It's fascinating history, really. I think when I watch it, I think the most recent time I've watched it, I thought to myself, Ula, the love interest, who's essentially just there to be the secretary, the leading actress, the love interest, but she gets a really funny song about showgirls and having to show off and be sexy, and played by Uma Thurman in the movie. I find she can be a lot of fun, because Uma Thurman looks like she's having a great time because she gets to sing and dance and be a fun character. I'm not gonna lie, I think she's a gold digger, because first opportunity to take the money and run, she suggests it to Leo. Which is very funny. Also, I've noticed Mel Brooks seems to like Rio a lot. It's referenced a couple times. Young Frankenstein, the musical, mentions Rio, and the producers has a scene where they're flying down to Rio as a getaway. It's an overall fun experience. It is. I think it does capture that frantic, madcap energy of trying to make something, whether that be good or bad. And even though the producers are trying to make something bad, they're putting their all into it. They are going to make it spectacular. And it shows. It's, of course, yeah, Springtime for Hitler, which is the worst thing they could think of, and it's probably really tame by today's standards, but you could honestly update that movie. I know, to make it about to the modern age, how about troll humor, and how in today's society when a lot of people are doing shock value, how do you be shocking? That could be a lot of fun. Because I know one of the late night hosts made the producers joke with the Donald Trump, with the political campaign, where they say, oh, you know, we picked the wrong candidate, the wrong party. Where did we go right? Just from the movie. It's tough to say what my favorite song is. I really like... Actually, one thing I really like is Max, when he's rotting in jail, he gets the postcard from Leo. He sings this really good song, Betrayed, which is such a good sum up of the whole movie up to that point in song. And it explains, and you see how he's feeling, and you see how he got to that point, and you see him at his lowest. And it's such a clever recap, and Nathan Lane pulls it off. The other one I really like is It's Bad Luck to Say Good Luck on Opening Night, because most of the main characters are in it, and they're telling Leo, who's not the theater person, never ever say good luck on opening night. But it's ironic because the producers are the ones saying good luck. Their bad luck is not the show's hit. It's so brilliant on so many levels. There are so many little jokes and little references to obscure literature that are so much fun to pick up. I read a lot of trivia. One of my favorites, this is from the original, and when Leo Bloom's having a freak out, and Max looks at him and says, oh, what do you want, Prince Mishkin? Something along those lines. And oh, well, Mel Brooks is an intellectual, and Prince Mishkin is the lead in a Russian play called The Idiot. So he's calling him an idiot in a very smart way. I love it. So underappreciated, that movie. So relevant to the creation process, to modern day. It's such a timeless story. It's such a funny story. It's such a simple idea. When you try to fail and fail, you get the plot of the producers. It makes me happy every time I watch it. I've watched it with the commentaries. It's one of those movies I've seen a million times. I will see a million more. It's one that a lot of people don't like, and that really is a shame, because it is so good. I'm so glad, because it's almost exactly like the Broadway show. But I think it makes the transition to movie form very, very nicely. It's almost... There are a couple songs cut here and there. But I like that it preserves the experience of seeing that Broadway show, and I'm so grateful for it. It's a masterpiece in my mind. I kind of gonna want to go watch it now.